Okay, we are live now. Hi, this is Cooking Appa. How is everyone? We are exciting today, very excited today because, like I promised you earlier, this 2 weeks is going to be. We have some very interesting topics coming up. Like today, Appa has invited a professional interior designer to come and share with us on how to design a practical kitchen. And many of us spend a lot of time in the kitchen every day. If you actually cook, like I know many of you actually cook even more than Appa. Yeah. So it will be very important for us to actually know, and good for us to know that how can we actually design our kitchen in a way that can make our kitchen life a lot more relaxed and convenient. I think that is uh, the the target that we want to achieve in the end of the day. Actually, APA will be moving next year, sometime next year. So I'm hoping to learn a lot from this very experienced interior designer with us today. Before we start, actually, for your reminder, the next, not exactly next week, slightly more than 1 week from now, we have another session all the way from Vietnam. APA has actually invited the owner of Onki Premium Fish Sauce from Phuket Island, where she will be coming on live, joining us, sharing about the production of her fish sauce, premium fish sauce, telling you all how to use fish sauce, when to use fish sauce, why is it we Vietnamese and Thai people use fish sauce that much, and some of the interesting recipe that she could be sharing as well. So yeah, and at the same time, can you all please leave a comment below or where are you from? I have seen some people coming from. Hi Zaharia from Shah Alam. Hello, John. Long time no see. Lacey, hello, hello. Judy, good evening. For the rest of you, let us know where are you from. Oh, we have someone from PJ. This is very near to Apa. And do please help Appa to share this particular session out to on your Facebook to your friends. By the way, this session is actually online broadcast simultaneously on both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So do share the session out to your friends if you think that this session is going to help. Actually, I have seen some of the slides that this nice lady has prepared for our session tonight. She's very serious about the talk today. Um, from the slides itself, I already learned a lot. So seriously, you're going to love the talk for tonight. Seriously, very good slides. You're going to learn a lot about kitchen, how to design a practical kitchen. John. John is actually one of my sponsor. Even from JB, oh, Appa will be going back JB end of this month. We have people from Judy from Penang, Jennifer. I love that name. It sounds like a little baby learning to talk. So thank you for sharing your story. I live in Trinidad. Eh, Oh my God. Oh, that's very far. Thanks for watching. We have someone from Malacca. Hi, Grace. We have someone from NG from Subang Jaya. Judy already shared to your friends and public. Thank you very much. And if you can share to some of the groups that you are joining also, that would be good. But do only send to those groups which allows live session. If some groups doesn't like it. Oh, we have Sharon from Pahang. Actually, early tomorrow morning, Appa will be driving out to Penang. Any of you, or somebody was from Penang just now also. We have Audrey from Singapore. Hello. Okay, now is 34. I think it is. We can start the session today. Again, please share this live session out and click like and follow button, yeah, for this for my channel also. Thank you very much. So tonight, as I mentioned earlier, we have got some in a very experienced interior designer. She's a co-founder of the Doors Interiors from Puchong, and I visited their latest sales office recently. It's very nicely renovated. Um, so I invited her to come and share on how to design a practical kitchen and what are the things to look out for. So she will be talking about the flow. She will be talking about the layout. She will be talking about the material you use. How do you do the storage and things like that? Okay. Oh, Roland is also here. Hi, Roland. Okay. So without further ado, let me bring her up. Hi, Kate.
Hey, thank you so much for actually having me here. I'm so excited. Very kanchong. I see so many people coming in. Hey,
Yeah,
privilege that
all my
way. Thank you.
followers, all my followers is very friendly type. So don't worry, just relax and enjoy the session. So
Yeah, very kanchong now.
I will hand over the floor to you.
Okay, sure. Hello guys. I'm Kate Chu here from the Door Interiors. I'm a very simple designer. I would call myself actually I'm pretty practical also. So hopefully you guys can enjoy the session today. Okay, if you do have any comments or questions, later on you can just ask whatever you want. It's also fine regarding about design, interior design for your kitchen. Okay, and at the same time, do leave more comments so that I know what I can improve in also. At the same time, I hope you guys enjoy lah, huh? So right now I'm going to share my slides. I'm going to start it. Okay, let me just share my
You need
slides
to share
here.
the slide first. I didn't see your slide in the background. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
sharing it right now. Do you see it now?
Wait,
Okay.
okay, I'm adding up for
Can
you
you
now.
see it now?
Make it okay. Done.
Yes. Okay, done. So you guys see my slides, huh? Okay, so today's session is very casual, very simple. We are all going to talk about kitchen. Okay, so basically these are the 5 basic ways to make yourself a very practical kitchen. So I will start by talking about what kind of kitchen do you think is actually really practical? Again, this topic in terms of practicality is very subjective. So you need to ask yourself what kind of person you are, what kind of lifestyles you have. So that's why we actually come up to the first step that you need to identify, which is actually what kind of kitchen person you are. When I say kitchen person, has many meaning lah. So a lot of people say, what do you mean by kitchen person? This is how I normally talk to our clients. I will ask them, first of all, are you the non-cookers, meaning seldom cook type lah, the busy type, the don't like to cook kind of person, or are you the person that like to cook once in a blue moon, the sometimes cookers? And the next one, the last one is actually, are you the always cookers, meaning always constantly cook every day? So you need to identify yourself, basically what kind of a person you are first. Then after that only we can go into designing your space. So the first kind would be, you need to ask yourself this. The non-cookers are normally people who cook once in a blue moon, like maybe 1 month cook once, and then they normally eat out. You're normally a busy person, seldom cook, and you like to eat microwave food, okay, canned food lah. And then you just need a very simple kitchen and minimalist. So the next kind of person you need to ask yourself is, are you a sometimes cooker? Sometimes cooker means you cook like maybe just during the weekends. Also simple cooking, and you like to actually cook efficient food. When I say efficient food, means simple food, and also has cooking equipments but not much, meaning you have like smaller equipments or those all four in one kind of things like air fryer or pressure cooker, those simple kind of equipments. Okay, and then next, those that are always cookers, meaning always cooking lah. Always cooking. Normally, this can be mothers, can be homemakers, can be big households where you cook every single day. You like to eat healthy. Okay, normally these kind of people, when they buy stuff, they buy in bulks. Like you need a lot of storage lah. Then you have more cooking equipments, cooking utensils. At the same time, you are also a person who likes to explore new things, new kind of cooking styles. Okay, so once you identify this already, you also need to ask yourself how big your family is lah. These kind of things actually will affect In fact, it will be based on how big your family is, what's the size of your household, and also your own lifestyle. If you are the type that likes to bake, you may have more baking equipments. If you are the type that likes Western kind of cooking, you will have a lot of different kind of pans. But if you are the Chinese kind of cooking, you have big wali and all of this really determines the kind of kitchen that you're going to have. And of course, your cooking and buying habits, whether you are the type that like to buy in bulk. Okay, so this you need to identify yourself. Okay, no matter what kind of a kitchen person you are, what kind of style you are, you will still need to make sure the kitchen works for you. At the same time, therefore, it's practical for you. So this is a pretty important thing that you need to identify yourself. So again, which kind of person, which kind of cooking person are you? Are you the very simple kind, you cook once in a blue moon? Are you the type that completely don't cook, or are you the type that cooks every day? So once you identify that already, we'll come to the next thing, which is the workflow of the kitchen itself. So again, never underestimate the workflow and convenience of the space, because this actually saves you a lot of time inside your kitchen itself. Okay, first thing, what is the workflow? Designing a workflow that suits for your convenience and your own lifestyle actually saves you a lot of time. You need to actually zone out the space in your kitchen itself. When I say zone out, you don't understand, I show you what kind of the 5 zones that normally you need to know inside your kitchen itself. Okay, the first 3, these are very straightforward one. Normally, when the first thing you go into the kitchen, when you want to cook, you need preparation. So you need a preparation area. So very important to have countertops. Then secondly, you start cooking. So if you look at the picture here, the middle picture is cooking. You have actually like pots and pans like storage below the what we call below the induction cooker, or maybe your stove, so that it's easy for you to grab like your guali or the pans that you need. Okay, next, after you cook already, you finish already, you serve your things, you need to clean. So cleaning area is also a very important area, where normally is always closer to the sink area. So this is also something that you need to look into. So this is the first 3. There's 2 more very important one that I come to the next slide, which is storage for your consumables and non-consumables. I would always advise you guys to actually separate these 2 areas. Why? Is because consumables are mainly like dry food, can be like your Coco Crunch, can be like your noodles, can be like your dry stuff like canned food and all. So consumables should be actually stored at one section. So it's a lot more easier for you to reach, and at the same time, it's easier for you to clean. Because normally the consumable area, sometimes if your flour spills out or whatever food spills out, you have actually a separate space for you to clean, and it's you know that you need to clean it sometimes. So the non-consumable things would be like storage for your plates, your pots and pans, your forks and spoons and all. So these 5 elements very important for you to understand. I will talk about this kind of storage in my next few slides. So next, it's once you know the 5 things that where you want to put, how many things you have, we come into the golden triangle of your kitchen. Okay, what is the golden triangle? You must be wondering. I hope that you're wondering. So the golden triangle actually mainly comes into 3 things. If you look at it, in this first one, this is actually what we call one wall kind of kitchen design, where normally it's for smaller kitchens. When you say the golden triangle, actually, if you look at the top, it's the sink, then the fridge, then you have the oven, which is the cooking area. Okay, so when we talk about this kind of golden triangle, it always in the kitchen, it always move this way one. It's really like magic. Okay, so how would it work? Yeah, normally when we go to the kitchen, when we want to serve food, first thing, what do? We go to the fridge. We go to the fridge, we take out the things. Then we go to the sink, we prepare, wash. And then next, once we prepare already, then we go and cook it. So you see, it's a triangle thing that is working around. So when we talk about this triangle, it's actually the workflow and how you walk around your kitchen itself. And then if you look at the bottom part, there's the 8 feet there. That can be storage area, or it can be a prep area for you also. So this one is really very subjective. It depends on your needs. So I'll share another one, which is a different kind of workflow. So this kind of layout, I'm sharing this is because in Malaysia itself, especially in condos, we have very tiny space. But every single space, I can tell you that you definitely can work. Every single kitchen, small or big, it still can be workable. It depends on how you actually design it. So when you look at this, you see you only have one wall of kitchen area. You have the fridge. Then beside the fridge is already the sink. Beside the sink is already the oven. But then how can this actually work? So I can share with you lah. So for example, you go to the fridge, you don't have counter space to do preparation. So you always can go to the dining area. The dining area or the dining table can actually function as a preparation area. It can also function as a serving area. So let's say if you have a small space like that, having a small table, a separate table for you to actually work would be also quite sufficient. So this is one of the ways that can actually help you prepare the space efficiently for you. So again, I'll show you some examples of these are some of the clients' works that we have done. If you look at this one, there's an island in the middle. So their kitchen is also pretty small. They don't have much space. But if you look at the left-hand side, we completely actually installed full storage for them so that they have more space. At the same time, they actually prepared in the island. This is actually island. It can be like a dining table. They actually can do their preparation in the middle here. So next, this is another example of another client also. Again, one side of the wall is only one wall kind of kitchen. So you can make it efficiently. You can have like a proper storage at the bottom and the top. And on one side, you can always have like a full storage so you can store most of your pantry stuff lah. Okay, so next is actually the L-shaped kind of kitchen. Also very, very common in Malaysia lah. L-shaped. And it's one of my favorite ways of designing a kitchen also. Why I say that? If you look at the left-hand side, you have the kitchen. Ignore the island lah. You see the workflow is again, it's like the triangle, the golden triangle. So you prepare already at the fridge, then you go to the sink, then you cook. Again, you see in the middle, if you have an island, if you have a space for an island, it would be good because that can be a preparation area for you. So if not, beside the sink area, you should always have a counter space for you to actually prep your stuff. Okay. So next would be some examples. So this is an L-shaped one. This is a very simple kind of concept that some of our clients do. This very common in Malaysia, very small kitchen lah. Okay, so when you have an L-shaped area like this, you also can fully utilize it. Always make sure that beside your sink you have space to actually put some stuff. Like for example, in Malaysia itself, a lot of sinks like to face the window outside. So if you look at this, you face the window outside. So you always need some space. Like let's say if you do not want a built-in kind of dish rack, you need space for you to actually put the dish rack on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. Okay, so this is another example of an L-shaped kind of kitchen where you can actually fully utilize the overall space itself. You can always have storage on top. You put your plates, and beside the sink, you definitely need to have some countertop space for you lah. Okay, next, the U-shaped kind of a kitchen design. Again, golden triangle. You see, one thing you need to understand, if you look at this compared to the previous view, this one, they have more space. So the golden triangle basically is the area where you'll be walking around. So when you do that, like let's say if you even sketch for yourself your own kitchen, you draw out the triangle. If you have additional space on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, that means you have additional space. More people can actually cook in the kitchen itself. Okay, so this is pretty important. But then if you do not have that space, storage would be actually very important also. So that one will be the next few slides. Okay, just to show you the different kinds of what we call kitchen designs, kitchen layout. So this is the G shape. So G shapes normally is for bigger spaces. If you have a bigger kitchen, you can actually do this kind of G shape kind of concept where you have the sink linked to the fridge, to the cooking area. At the same time, at the bottom side here, you can have what we call a peninsula or a bar area for you to sit. So normally when you have this kind of kitchen, it's nice to have because, like let's say you are cooking, the kids are at home, or even like you have a friend coming to your house when you're cooking, you actually can strike a conversation where you're doing your preparations or when you're cooking. So it's a pretty nice thing to have if you have the space. You actually have a G-shaped kind of design. It never goes wrong with a G-shaped kind of what we call a G-shaped kitchen layout. Okay, so this is another example. This is actually for a smaller space. So some smaller spaces can actually work also if you have the proper layout. Actually, kitchens, I personally like the kitchen to be square shape because again, if you look at this, you can have actually a G-shaped kind of a kitchen. So when you have a G-shaped kind of kitchen, you can actually put more and more storage units at the bottom. Then you can actually have what we call you can buy extra stuff. This is for those people who like to always cook. Okay, So next, this is just some examples. This is a G-shaped kind of kitchen. So if you look at it, it's actually more efficient. Actually, this kitchen itself is not big. This is one of our clients' space. It's not big, but the amount of things that they can fit inside is super. They actually moved from a bungalow, I would say a much bigger kitchen to a small kitchen like this. And then they are still able to actually fit everything in. Even if you look at the right hand side, you see, you notice there's actually 2 fridges. So this client itself, again, she's the type that cooks every day. But then, although she moved to a small kitchen, but because the kitchen is designed efficiently for her, she's able to actually fit most of her things inside. Okay, so again, smooth workflows are actually possible for every kitchen, big or small. Okay, so this is another kitchen that we did. This is also what we call a G-shaped kind of kitchen, where you have where we actually even incorporated the dining table in together with the. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the space optimization. Storage already lah. So storage is so once you know what kind of kitchen person you are, you will know what kind of storage you need lah. Okay, storage wise, it's I always segmentize it into 3 different types. The normal kind of open door kind of storage, that one I don't talk about lah. I talk about pantry, top hung, and also drawer storage. These 3 in as a designer is one of my favorite things and a must have to have in a kitchen lah, to make your kitchen practical and efficient. Okay, so what is a pantry storage? So a pantry storage is pretty simple. If you look at the picture here, is normally tall units, and it's very efficient in the sense that it's easy to reach, easy to keep, and it helps organize different kinds of equipments. It can be dry stuff, can be like your bowls and all, where you pull out and keep everything inside. Okay, so pantry storage are one of the best things to have. It's actually normally tall units lah, taller cabinets where you can have storage. So you don't just put shelves inside. You can always allocate like drawers like this, so it's easy to access, easy to pull out. You don't need to like bend down and see what's inside. Okay, then the next type is actually top hung storage. This is very common in most of the what we call a kitchen. Most of every kitchen almost has it. But then do you know that actually top hung storage, you don't need to just it's not about just like having shelves like that, but you also can put in all these kind of accessories in. Okay, so normally I personally like to push the dish rack on top, because especially above the sink, is because once I wash my stuff already, I can directly put above a dish rack for it to dry itself. Okay, and then of course at the top area, it's always nice to have a pull down rack. When I say pull down rack, it's actually this item here. You see this lady in the middle, she's actually pulling down a rack. So in the event, like some of my customers always tell me, hey, I cannot reach the things above, not nice to use. I will always advise them to actually put in this kind of what we call pull down kind of racks, so that you also can fully utilize the space above you. Okay, so last is what we call a drawer storage. So drawer storage is one of the best in my opinion. I call it magic. Try and have more drawers in your kitchen itself, because it's always really frequently used. This one normally we put in all the frequently used things like fork, spoon, chopstick, your bowls, frequently used things every day and also like pots and equipments and all. And it can be so useful, and at the same time we can design it accordingly to your needs. Okay, so number 4, you need to determine what kind of countertop material you need to use. Okay, countertop, it really depends on the overall cost and budget that you want to spend. And there are many different kinds of materials you can use. If you look from here, you actually can come up from natural stone, marble, granite. Of course, this one costs higher. Quartz, then quartz later I'll explain bit by bit. Then solid surface are actually like plastic material. Ceramic tiles, which is the very common thing that Malaysian loves to use. Laminates are basically like chipboard at the bottom and very affordable. And of course, wood and butcher block. Okay, wood and butcher block is very American style. At the same time, this actually adds character to the space itself. So I explained a little bit of the pros and cons of each thing. So if you use natural stone, of course, marble, granite, these are very common. Actually, it adds elegance to the space, so it makes the space look very luxurious. Okay, so the pros and cons, I go through this very briefly. Natural stone, of course, is quite strong, quite durable, adds value into the space. So let's say you want to sell property next time in the future, you use granite or marble table, you can sell at a higher price. This is really true. Okay, Okay, and of course, you have many different kind of choices. In here, they mention maintenance free. It depends on what kind of marble and what kind of granite you use. For me, marble itself, if let's say we are using it at a dry kitchen, I'm perfectly fine. But let's say marble you use in the wet kitchen, I wouldn't advise. Why? Is because marble itself is natural stone. It absorbs water. So let's say you accidentally pour ketchup onto your table, or you pour coffee onto the marble table. You don't wipe it immediately. Gone. You get a stain, beautiful stain on the table itself. So again, pros and cons. If you really want to use it as a countertop, I would go for granite more, because granite, in terms of the absorption and in terms of the color, it's not as light as marble. So granite would be a very good option lah. And of course, it's also very nice, and it depends on the style, and it's also one of a kind. Every stone is different. Okay, so in terms of course, it's very expensive law, and of course you can't install it yourself, like you need somebody professional to do that. And then one more thing about natural stone is natural stone. It has cracks. It has natural cracks. It's not because sometimes it's not because it's a crack. It's actually basically a crack lah, but it's art, I call it. So natural stone, we definitely have that kind of problem. At the same time, normally how they actually cover it up, they will put sealer. So that's the pros and cons. Okay, then next of course is quartz stone, one of my favorite materials to use for countertop. Why I tell you this lah? Quartz are actually man-made stone. Man-made stone where they, okay, just to explain a little bit of the material, they actually basically mix with a little bit of natural stone and quartz particles, and also at the same time they actually add a little bit of very low amounts of resin inside. But again, it still looks very nice lah. So again, if you look at the cons, not much cons to say, but a lot of pros lah. So quartz stone, for some they say they can install DIY, but I feel again you would leave it to the professionals to install. Very easy to maintain, yes, definitely. Okay, another thing is that quartz stone also, you have very low maintenance because it doesn't stain at all. And then very good thing about quartz stone is if you put anything hot onto the surface, it doesn't get burned. So it's pretty easy to take care of. And then in terms of look-wise and cost-wise, actually I feel that it's worth the price lah, if you ask me. And then of course, cost here say it's expensive. Yes lah, it's not that cheap lah, but it's worth the investment lah, if you ask me. And then the countertops are very heavy, but I think all countertops are heavy anyway. Okay, so next, solid surface. Okay, solid surface are actually man-made material. It's quite popular in many countries. And at the same time, it actually it's a blend of actually acrylic and resin. Basically, it's like plastic, different kind of materials mixed inside. But if you want to understand a little bit more, it's just like plastic. So again, solid surface has, although here it is written resist staining, you need to be careful, because solid surface, there are many different brands. The really good brands really have this kind of function where it doesn't stain. But if you're going with the very common brand or even cheaper brands, solid surface is very difficult to take care. Again, staining is a big issue. And then another thing is you really need to take care at the same time, don't put anything hot onto it. This one is the cons already. I'm talking about more cons about it. But anyway, solid surface has a good side of it. Solid surface in terms of the joining. Let's say you have a big slab. You don't like to see the lines. You don't like to see the joining. Okay, solid surface you can achieve by almost virtually invisible seams, meaning you don't see the joining at all. So that's a good side about it. And then again, solid surface has many different colors. And then one thing about good thing about solid surface, they, like, let's say you want to make a what we call integrated sink, meaning the sink on the same color, same shape with the countertop. Solid surface we can do that because they actually use the mold to do so. So in terms of the cost, just now I mentioned already. Again, hot things you cannot put onto it, so you really need to take care. And oh yeah, another thing, solid surface is not as expensive lah. So in terms of costing wise, solid surface is actually much cheaper than quartz stone and also natural stone lah. Okay, so next is ceramic tiles. Oh, this one, Malaysian, one of the most common things that Malaysian used to use. No doubt that actually ceramic tiles are pretty nice to use. Okay, it's very durable, easy to clean, and of course it's very much less expensive compared to the other few materials. Okay, so in terms of pros and cons, okay, of course a lot of pros also lah. Easy to clean, okay, affordable, yep, okay. And some people like to DIY themselves. Yes, if you really need to, can. It's immune to heat, damage and hot pans, yes, very good. And if there's enormous range of colors, yeah, many different kind of tiles you can choose in the market. I think millions of it. Okay, so cons also have, of course, custom tiles are very expensive. Like that one we seldom use, especially those big, right now, big tiles are big pieces of tiles are actually pretty expensive. Like one single slab can is like almost equivalent to like one piece of custom pricing also got. So of course, if you're going with tiles, I wouldn't advise you to go custom type like, because it's normally the cheaper. It's I would rather ask you to go with the real stuff like quartz. So next thing would be, okay, the thing about tiles is it's also quite easy to break lah. So it's quite brittle because inside internally ceramic is softer. Okay, so tiles, when you have tiles on your countertop, if you drop something very heavy like your chunk, you drop something heavy like basically onto it get damaged very easily. Okay, another thing I don't like, really don't like about tiles is the groove lines in between. Okay, you have a very big groove line and you have a lot of lines. So when you have groove lines on the countertop, the groove lines actually tend to have a lot of dirt stain, and also in terms of cleaning, not nice to clean. Okay, and of course it looks cheap lah. When you see the last part here, it doesn't look so prestige, meaning it looks cheaper lah. But not to say the material is not good, just in terms of look wise it doesn't look so good. But then in terms of practicality, it has its own practicality lah, I would say. Okay, so a few more to go. Laminates. Okay, laminates are one of the most cheapest way to actually do a countertop. Normally I only advise clients that seldom cook, completely don't cook lah. Actually, the non-cookers actually use it, because this is a very, I would say, it's a cheap material, but at the same time it's not so nice to use. So let's say if you're going with rental property, if you are renting out a place, you can just go for this material itself, because it's much cheaper compared to the other few materials that we proposed previously. So pros and cons. Laminates, they are they say here very easy to maintain, but you don't put water, you don't stain water onto it lah. And then they have many different kind of options. And then of course it's very inexpensive, so it's very much cheaper. Of course, the cons are because laminates, they have joinings, so again you see all the black lines, doesn't look so nice lah. And then at the same time, it's the surface itself can scratch easily because it's still laminated a piece of paper over it. So, and in terms of like if you want to replace it or you want to repair it, it's also very difficult to repair lah. Okay, so last one is actually the wood and butcher blocks. These are very common in overseas, in European countries. Okay, it's really very beautiful. Actually, IKEA has a lot of it, really a lot of it in IKEA. And it creates a beautiful warm look. And at the same time, if you ask me lah, when we design a country looking kitchen, I would definitely use this kind of material. But you ask me if whether I'm going to put it at a wet kitchen, I don't think I will put it at a wet kitchen, because wood cannot resist water. So pros and cons. Pros, quite a lot of pros as well. Relatively easy to clean. Again, I feel if Chinese cooking, then maybe not. Western cooking still okay lah. Chinese cooking difficult to maintain, or more oily ma. And then next will be very long lasting and if properly taken care of. Okay. And let's say you want to revarnish it, you want to refurnish it, you can always grind over it, and then after that you can just revarnish it. Okay. And of course, in terms of look wise, definitely the very country looking kind of a kitchen, which is quite classy. But if you look at the cons, also quite a lot of cons lah, meaning not so good things about it. It's quite expensive actually. The price of doing this kind of butcher block, you can even check it out in IKEA lah. The price is almost similar price as doing, I would say, like a solid surface, slightly more expensive than solid surface. Okay, the surface can be scratched and cut by knives, meaning let's say if you directly chop something onto that table, gone, lines. Okay, and it's also in terms of damage, like water is still wood, water kernel wood sure stain over time, and then it tends to also have problems with bacteria. So let's say if you're the type that like to bake, you need the bread and all. If you need directly on the surface, it may not be so suitable. It same goes to marble and granite. Marble and granite also has the same issue because it's natural stone, natural materials. The dirt and also like some bacteria actually seeps through the material. So let's say if you're the type that likes to bake and all, I may not suggest this kind of material. Like avoid granite, marble, and also wood. Okay, because bacteria after some time will still stick onto it. But for quartz stone and for solid surface, you have less of those kind of problem. Okay, so I will talk about, okay, last part already. So number 5, remember your sink washing area, very important. Okay, so what kind of sink are you? What kind of sink do you like? So this one also, it really depends on your lifestyle and what kind. It still draws down to what kind of kitchen person you are lah. Okay, so there are million kinds, actually not millions lah. There are many kinds of kitchen sinks, but I'm going to share just a few very common ones. So you really need to understand which one suits you best, and also at the same time, what's the size of your kitchen itself lah. So the first one I'm going to share is like top mount. Okay, what is top mount? Okay, top mount is one of the most common kitchen sinks in the market lah. Okay, where the kitchen itself, the sink itself is actually installed directly on top of the countertop. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward, and it's directly installed above the countertop basically. So the pros about it is actually quite easy to install. So let's say in the future you don't like the sink anymore, you want to replace it, you can just dismantle it easily and then you replace it with a new sink. And overall the cost compared to the money other different kind of sinks, these are actually slightly cheaper lor. Of course, in terms of cost, there are also a downside about it in terms of cleaning, because it's elevated upwards. So the corners itself will get dirt easily. So if you're the person that a bit OCD type, maybe this one also suitable lah. Because in terms of cleaning, you get more cleaning for this kind of sink in terms of the size at the, between the sink and the counter. Okay. So next would be the undermount kind of sink. The undermount kind of sink, of course, is one of the sinks that designers love to use. Myself also, I love it because it's seamless and looks more neat. And then in terms of like, if you are the type that like to chop like your vegetables, do your preparation beside the sink, this is relatively easy to use because once you chop already, you can just wipe the whole area easily. Okay, so in terms of pros, undermount sinks allow you to sweep countertop water and crumbs straight into the sink, and then at the same time it also looks a lot more better. Okay, designers love it. For me, I love it. Okay, undermount sinks are often higher quality than overall mount sinks, meaning in terms of pricing wise also it's slightly higher. Why? It's because the quality is also thicker itself lah. Okay, then next, undermount sink. What downsides about undermount sink? They are undermount sink because it's customized, and the what we call the countertop actually sits on the sink itself. So let's say in the future when you want to change it, it's pretty difficult to change it. You actually need to break the previous countertop out, then only you can change the sink. So you really need to know what kind of person you are, and even for this kind of undermount sink, you should get the better type lah. Don't go with the really cheap kind of the undermount sinks itself. Okay, so next, the drain board kind of sink. So drain board kind of sinks, normally we like to put it where those sinks are actually facing the what we call the window side. Why? Is because sometimes if you don't have an area, this one the what we call the drainage area, some of them they like to put like the cups or like the dish rack beside it so that the water actually drains directly into the sink lah. Okay, so this is actually a combination between two, like a countertop and also at the same time the sink together. So the pros about this kind of sink is very useful. Like let's say if you have like you want to dry stuff beside it. Okay, so you actually have the what we call the drain board itself, and then at the same time it's easier to clean and maintain also. Of course, the cons about it is a bit of wastage of space because it tends to be bigger. So let's say for some people they like to have a more preparation space, or if it's a small kitchen, this may not be advisable for them lah. Okay, so the last one is actually the kind of sink. It's actually a farm sink. Okay, farm sink is have been very popular in Malaysia lah. It has been very popular in Europe countries for the past many 50 years like that. But currently itself is we're getting very popular in Malaysia. Why? Is because in terms of actually the country looking kitchen is coming into trend in Malaysia itself. So right now you will see the market, some of these designs actually coming up in the market itself. Okay, so the good thing about farm sink is it's actually elevated a little bit out of the counter, so it's actually bigger than the normal kind of sink lah. So the pros about farm sink, it's the size is bigger, so kuali and all can fit in one lah. So it's pretty nice to use. And of course, in terms of look wise, there are many different kinds of designs right now. So look wise, design wise, look definitely good lah. And then of course the only thing about farm sinks where we find it not so good is again price wise is very very expensive because it's not as common right now. So the farm sinks can range from like minimum price around 4,000 to 10,000 like that also got. Okay, and then that's the thing about it. I think basically that's just the cons. Other than that, of course, you really need to determine later on whether you need a single sink or a double sink. Okay, single sink basically is just one outlet like that. If you are the kind of person that likes to watch big stuff, you can get one big single sink. Okay, so the pros about single sink is in terms of if you get the smaller one, it saves you space lah. Okay, and then of course in terms of for people operation side, if you have a bigger sink, some people just like to chuck everything in and just wash it immediately. Okay, and the only downside about single sink is sometimes it's too small and it's not so flexible. So let's say Chinese cooking, you have a big wok, the guali, you won't be able to wash it efficiently inside. No? The only downside about single sink is that. So double sink itself, if you ask me, I will always prefer double sink. Why? Is because double sink itself, like let's say if you want to defrost, some people when they defrost their chicken or when they even wash their things separately, they can have like if you look at this picture here, they can have like a mini draining area at the corner here if you buy some accessories. Okay, so the pros about double sink is the multi-purpose. You can have many different functions for a double sink. You can like put you want to defrost or you want to put separate things into your separate sink. You always have another section for it. Okay, and it's very useful for households without dishwashers lah. And especially in Malaysia, dishwashers it's not a common thing for every household. That's why if you do not have a dishwasher, maybe double sink I feel is a must for the home itself. Okay, then of course either side can be used. Okay, the cons lah. Either side can be used small and accommodate big pots, and also those they kind of difficult to accommodate large pots and all. But this one really depends on the sizes that you are using. And then in terms of look wise and size wise, actually it's a bit of wasting of space. But this one again very subjective lah. For me, double sink never really go wrong lah. If you ask me. Okay, so basically that's the 5 tips. I'm almost done. Be patient. I'm almost done. Okay, so again, just to share you guys, planning a kitchen can be an exciting and maybe for some people also stressful process. But then you must always be excited and be sure to use just now that 5 tips lah. Okay, so the first one is actually getting to know what kind of cook are you. Are you the person who always cooks, never cook, or you always cook? Just get to know that. Then after that, you need to determine what kind of I would say in terms of flow that you want for your space. It's very important what kind of flow you want. Again, the golden triangle. Remember golden triangle. If you know that, if you understand that, if you even sketch it inside your kitchen itself, then you will be able to actually make sure the flow is correct. Then third one, storage. Storage is very, very important. When you have a proper storage, you can store your things efficiently. You can actually, what we say, when you look at your kitchen, when it's neat, you also feel like cooking more. So there's also a very important thing that you should have. And then the fourth, of course, is just now the countertop. Countertop materials are very important because you'll be touching and using it every day. So choose the correct countertop for yourself. You need to budget it yourself. And of course, you need to know which area suits you best. Then last one is the kind of sink you use. So cleaning wise is very important. So cleaning the sink itself, never underestimate it. It's very, very important to have the proper sink for your home also. So in that case, after all, you'll be using this every day. Your kitchen you'll be using almost every day. So it's actually very important to not only look good, but to have a very, very practical kitchen itself. So basically, that's it from me. So I'm just going to share this to all the viewers here. Normally over at the door, we actually from the door interiors lah. So a door is a new opportunity. It's whether you want to go through it or not. At the door, we liberate spaces and we liberate lives. When we say liberate spaces and we liberate lives, it means that you must free yourself, meaning understand your space a little bit more. Free yourself in terms of your spaces and understand, and then you'll be able to understand your lives better. So when we say over at the door, we always say that we free your spaces at the same time you free your lives, and you live a better life. So basically, that's it from us. Remember to like us and subscribe us, and remember to like our Facebook at the link below. Okay, so basically that's it. So back to you, Abba. Finish already Q&A session. Mm.
Thank you, thank you. Wow, wow. It is really a wow presentation, even for Appa, to be very frank. I've learned so much through the past 45 minutes. I'm sure many of our viewers are also the same. Few things I managed to relate myself to you, what you talk. First thing first, my current kitchen, even though it's very small, but it's actually a perfect square. So I have a perfect
Mm.
triangle, like what you mentioned earlier. So every
Yes.
time when I want to get things from my fridge, wash things on the sink, and then cook at the hob, everything is can be reachable within very short distance. Of course,
Yes.
my only problem is I got extra special lighting, and my camera also inside my small kitchen, blocking my flow lah. So
Mm.
that's the challenge. And my new house is actually a L shape. Personally, even though it's bigger, but it's L shape. It's more narrower. If you really ask me, I
Mm.
actually prefer my current smaller but squarish type. Anyhow, I think it can be next year. I'll definitely come to you for more advice when I want to
Can
renovate my new kitchen. Because my new
definitely.
kitchen, one thing different from Appa's kitchen than other people is my kitchen needs to have very good lighting system so that my video can be done in a very clear way. Uh, and then um, and then other thing that I can relate myself is my kitchen top. My current kitchen
Mm.
top is actually solid top. Uh, like you mentioned earlier just now, solid
Mm.
top you can actually burn it. Yes, I burn it few times.
Yes.
I burn
Solid surface.
the because sometimes
Not
my
a big
helper
fan of it.
he just she just take the whole the hot pot and put on top of the top that lah. So you have the burn mark. And then secondly is every time I cook something with turmeric dye also. You can see my kitchen top a lot of yellow stains because of turmeric. Cannot wash one. Definitely cannot wash away. So so those are the very interesting. Now I know that is the characteristic of a solid top. So I also know that if in my mind right now, I have basically set my mind towards using a quartz top in my new kitchen. It
Yes.
looks like it's going to solve a lot of my problem because to me, Appa is not a luxurious type of person. I'm a functional type of person. It doesn't have to look the best, but I want it to be very functional, make my cooking life very easy, very easy to maintain. I want my kitchen to be very easy to maintain. If I want to white, just do one white gautim. It's not that I have to do 10 whites and things like that. So I think all these small little things comes together, the maintenance part, the material choose, all this is actually important. And actually, most of my questions in my mind was already answered by you during your presentation just now.
Thank you.
So that is definitely really very helpful. So
Mm.
now, do you all have any other questions that you would like to get some free consultation from Kate today?
Vice is free. Faster ask.
Yeah.
Mm.
Tonight is free, so you want to ask, you ask right now. Anyhow, we have put inside the comment section and also in the video description the link, the Facebook link of Kate company, the interior designing
The door
firm, which is the door
interiors.
interiors. Yeah, the door interiors.
Mm.
If you want to check out more design, getting more design ideas, or you have any question, you can all try to text PM her from there. Actually, just now there are a little bit few questions. There are few questions just now. There's one question asking about island.
Mm.
It's actually one question. It's actually very general. She said, "What about an island?"
Mm.
Nowadays, actually, island is getting more and more popular. Of course, I cannot have an island right now in my very small kitchen, but actually, I know I can have one in my new house lah. So, but the thing is, what are the things that we should actually look at when we want to design an island, especially when it comes to the material, the functional, because now I know people use island for storage. People use island sometimes even for sometimes they even fix some cooking thing and some electrical plugs here and there to put it
Yes.
in, right? So
Mm.
perhaps you can spend a bit of time to share a little bit more on island.
Okay, an island, if you have a space for your kitchen, please have it. Because an island is something that I feel is very functional. It can has a lot of different kinds of functions for it. So, example, like our showroom itself, if you guys want to come and visit, please lah, please come. We have a very big island over at our showroom there, showroom here. So normally what I would advise is if the client itself they have space for it. The island can function as again a preparation area. It can also function as what we call like a guest area. So let's say when I say guest means your guest coming into the house. Like if you're the person that who likes to entertain and likes to cook, or even if you not about friends, like it's about family or other people, they can actually gather around the island and at the same time talk and have a good time while you're cooking also at the same time. So it's a very very good thing to have if you have the space. Like every house that we can, of course, if you have an island, it's really useful lah. If you ask me, it's really useful. You can do a lot of things that I cannot explain how good it is, but it's really very nice to have lah. Storage definitely long. Underneath you can have drawers. I would love to have drawers at the bottom of it. Mm. Okay,
Yeah,
next.
great.
I see another question now.
I would definitely make
Mm.
one island as well. The there's one question here. Can we design the kitchen not using the golden triangle? Actually, what exactly is trying to mean?
Oh, the golden triangle, or
Yeah.
from in my opinion, is always definitely a must in the kitchen because
Mm.
it has to do with three main things. The first thing, you need to do your preparation area. That means it's from the fridge. So from the fridge, you either go to the sink area or the preparation area. So so first of all, you from the fridge itself, you go to your sink area to prep. Then after that, once you prep already, prepare all your food already, then you can go to cook itself. So the golden triangle is very important. So let's say you can even like for all the viewers here, you can even test it out over at your own kitchen right now. If your flow is not like the golden triangle, normally normally the flow is like a bit out one, or you'll be like wasting time, or when you take your things from the fridge already, then you want to go to a different section. It's like very far away from it. It's not functional one. So the golden triangle in a kitchen is a must in my opinion lah. Ah, yep, like that.
Yeah. To answer that question to summarize that, basically, it's about planning your flow.
Yes, correct.
It's about planning your flow, how you want your flow to be. The flow in the cooking is actually very important. I've actually seen a restaurant where they actually have two level of what you call hob, fire hob. There's one level on the front lower, and then there's one level on the top at the behind.
Wow,
Yeah,
two
they do it that
levels.
way. Yeah, they actually have levels. So so that's how they plan their flow. So we when we cook at home, if you have a very good flow, then you will find that your cooking is very seamless. I think that is the part that we really
Yes,
wanted. Okay.
yes,
And there
correct.
is actually a rather general question, if you ask me, not sure if you can roughly answer this. I like
I
the
like that.
undermount sink. How much is the range of cost for this type of sink? Let's say if I choose marble top, I think it's a little bit too general, but you see how you want to.
Okay, there's actually basically two questions here. Under mount sink in terms of pricing, in terms of the range, there are many different kinds of range. It can subject from 100 ringgit to 10,000 ringgit. So again, when you choose a sink itself, also very important is you need to check stainless steel. In terms of stainless steel, you need to check the thickness, now. What kind of thickness, what kind of quality that they are giving. So of course, cheaper ones, 要饭钱要饭for. In Cantonese, we say you pay for how much you get what lor. So let's say if you're getting with a more expensive sink, normally the quality is better. It will last you better also at the same time. And then for undermount sink, I'm always advised to get good ones lah, because you want to replace it, difficult to replace. Okay, and
Mm,
of course, let's say if I choose marble just now they mentioned. Of course, you can actually put it above any kinds of materials. You can put marble, solid surface, granite, quartz, or so you can put above undermount sink. Okay, so I see the
All
next
right.
question already.
Yeah,
Hmm.
there's one. I would say this is observation because some people do believe things like this lah.
Hmm.
Vivian say that must keep in mind when designing the sink must not face the stove. Bad feng shui.
Yes,
Mm.
some people do believe in that. Of course, I'm
Yes,
not a feng
yes,
shui
yes.
master lah, but I
Mm.
encounter a lot of clients where their feng shui master did mention that they say, earth and what fire and water like against
Should
each
not
other
be.
cannot.
Yeah, should not
Yes,
face each other. Yeah.
yes, and then some
Actually,
of them they say cannot be side by side also lah, feng shui lah, side by side.
actually, I think most. If you are looking at a squarish, let's say it's a squarish kitchen, then of course one is on left hand side, one is another one is on the other side already. So I don't think you
Yes,
will actually face each other at the end of the day. So, but
yes.
definitely feng shui is something that you want to include in your planning. But
Mm.
I've been in property line for over 20 years. I'm telling, but one observation I can share with you is this: um, if you get 10 different feng shui master to look at the same house, 10 different feng shui master will give 11 different opinion.
True,
So
very very
you,
true.
I'm not saying I'm not believing them. My advice is usually you stick to the one you believe. Don't go and get
Yes,
two, three
correct.
to give you comment.
Yes,
You sure pening one. So
yes, this
just
is
stick to
very
the
true.
one that you strongly believe. That is good enough. Okay, but I think feng shui is definitely a very good topic. Maybe one day I should get some feng shui master to come and talk about designing and things like that here
Feng
in
shui in
this
the
session.
kitchen.
Feng shui in
Actually, feng
kitchen,
shui in the kitchen. Yes, it's very
Wait,
important for women now, if you ask me. Oh, another question. Mm.
from Nelson. How about the stove type? As always hear people sharing that using gas stove type will create more oily surface comparing with using electrical induction cookware. Any
Mm.
comment? You want to answer or let me
Okay,
answer this? Mm. You answer
I
first.
answer a bit, then you answer a bit lah.
Can.
I from designer point of view and from real cook kind of point of view. Okay, so in terms of just now your question was gas stove, whether is it more oily or induction stove. Okay, again you need to ask yourself what kind of cooking person are you lah. Of course, comparing in terms of the wok hey, I believe that chef or appa would definitely go for the gas. So I do not know lah. This one you advise lah. Then when you say that whether is it more oily or not, it my opinion it depends on what thing are you cooking lah. If you ask me from designer point of view lah. Then I pass it back to appa. Appa can advise better. Appa, please,
From the
your
cooking
back
point
to
of
you.
view, now I'm not advising from the designing point of view. I'm answering from the cooking point of view. Um, First of all, um, if you use a gas stove, your temperature will be higher. So if you let's say you do a deep frying or things like that, the oil definitely is going to splatter further compare with normal induction or electric stove. Now, example, many of you have seen me sometime even using a spoon to cook. Then many of you were asking me, Appa, not hot, man. How come you put your hand into the wok like that using the spoon, small spoon? You know why it's not hot? Because I'm using induction. I'm using electric stove. If I use a fire stove, you think I dare to put my hand inside?
True
So cannot.
炸都炸都冇咗。
Cannot. If it's a fire stove, it's very hot. So when it is very hot, then whatever you're cooking inside will definitely splatter further away. So definitely, fire stove is harder to maintain. Okay. So, but if you ask me, my in my mind right now, thinking for my new kitchen, I'm actually thinking of having one electric stove and also one fire stove. I want both lah, so that I can actually use it the moment as per required lah. Yeah. So some of actually many modern home cook nowadays they all want to stay away with oil, so they all want to go and use air fryer and things like that. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Now, so hope that answer your question. Let me see. There's another question here. Did you think designing is very difficult when the client want to follow all the feng shui? Kate.
Okay, this one, this question, actually, a lot of people also ask me the same thing. Of course, I would say for some clients, those that really believe in feng shui come first, then only design and practicality. Seriously, a lot. For me, if you ask me whether it's difficult or not, I wouldn't say it's difficult because we are designers, we are creative people. So we definitely have ways to actually, of course, in terms of look wise, we definitely will make it look wise. And of course, we try and make it practical. So practicality is also something that we at the door we actually practice very much. So of course, feng shui wise, if like just now I mentioned, like the stove cannot face the sink and all, we try and avoid it. Can be like 45 degrees and all. Design definitely we can actually find ways to play around with it. So if you ask me whether it's difficult, I feel sometimes it's challenging, but I wouldn't say it's difficult lah. Like that. Mm.
Basically, what she's saying
Hopefully,
that
I answer your question now.
what Kate is trying to say is it depends on who you are talking to lah. If you are talking to Kate, no problem.
Come and look for me. Come and look for me. Almost, a lot of my Chinese clients all got feng shui. Even my Indian clients also they see feng shui. One feng shui is something that they believe in already. Okay.
Yeah, and
Next question.
I want to repeat this again. If you want to get a feng shui master, go and get the one that you believe strongly. Don't get two feng shui master. The moment
True.
you get two feng shui master, that's a problem started to arise. Get one, the one that you
Yes.
really strongly believe in. Yeah. Vivian Chong says, if got space, good to separate wet and dry kitchen. What's your observation on this?
Okay. Okay, this is again very subjective, really based on your lifestyle lah. So I personally like to have a dry kitchen. Why I say I personally like to have because I don't cook much lah. To be honest, I'm a very
She
busy
doesn't cook,
person.
by the
I'm
way,
always on the
for
go.
you.
I don't cook much, but I love to design. I can design very good spaces. So I like if I were to hang out in my house, I like to stay at my dry kitchen one because I like to separate it. Because again, cleaning is one thing. No, dry kitchen I have actually a peninsula. Peninsula meaning it's like a bar area, so I like to actually like even bring my laptop sometimes there to work, and I feel that actually separating the spaces would be nice. But then this again very subjective. I'm the type that don't cook. But let's say, for example, I have a client that recently we did. They actually had two separate spaces previously, but then later on, after some time, they decided to combine it into one space.
Oops, we have a bit of laggy. I hope she will be coming back shortly. Do we have you, Kate? Is it my line or your line? Oh, it's trying to tell us that we are
Oh,
already done one whole hour.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
Oh, you are back.
Sorry.
Okay,
Just
okay.
now, just now,
Welcome
just
back.
now, just now disappear for a magic. So just now,
About
okay.
1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute. Really. Oh shit. Oh, sorry. I cannot say that.
So you were
Okay. So
saying?
again, if you are the type that have a big family lah, big family in my opinion, I like to cook together lah. Especially I would say Malay and Indian families I notice lah. They are very big. We have you are very in Chinese we say 很热情, very warm hearted. You like to cook. Everyone likes to cook in the kitchen. Normally for that kind of clients, I would advise you to have one big kitchen rather than separating it. Why I say that is when they do heavy cooking or when they do preparations together, they like to do it in the back kitchen. So this one again very subjective. It really depends on you guys itself and your lifestyle. And once you have a big kitchen, you can have more people inside. Lor. So this is really very subjective lah. If you ask me, I cannot say good or
Yeah,
bad lah.
I agree.
Uh,
I agree. Actually,
yep.
I'm thinking to have one large kitchen rather than having dry and wet. So anyhow, I think there's no right or wrong when it comes to this, as long as your workflow. I think most important thing here is your workflow must be correct. Now, to give you the example, every time when we cook, like me lah, I put my things like oyster sauce I put in the fridge because the oyster sauce from Lee Kam Kee doesn't come with any preservative. So the moment you open it, you have to put it in the fridge. Uh, then again, then uh, when you cook, halfway you have to go to the fridge and take, you take and then you have to pour it into your wok. So can you just imagine your fridge is like 10 feet away from you? The
True.
moment you come back, your veggie chao da already, So
Yeah.
so the workflow is actually more important rather um, than whether or not you want to do dry, wet kitchen and things like that. To me, those are really personal preference, no word right or wrong. But to me, the keyword is really functional
Yes.
ability, and the flow must be good. The flow must be good. So yeah, things like that. Okay, I think we have done 1 full hour session here with Kate. And
Thank
Kate,
you
I
so
really
much.
think you keep telling me that you are very nervous, but you really did a wonderful job. Seriously.
Oh, thank you so much. This is like basically like one of my first ever lives. Thank you so much. Privileged to have to be at Cooking's apartment. Thank you so much. I
Yeah,
really
you
hope
already
that
got
your
few,
viewers
you
actually really hope that your
well,
viewers actually enjoy and
I
learn
learned a
something
lot.
now.
I learned a lot. So actually, I'm sure many of our viewers also learn a lot. We already got few thousand views actually. So
Serious 2,000 views. Thank you. So
yeah, because
excited
it's
for you.
simultaneously on Facebook and YouTube run concurrently. The reach is also
Wow.
it's actually already above 10,000.
Wow.
So we are very honored to have you with us today. And if any of you needed any other information, you can go to her. You can go to her.
Facebook.
Let me see. I bring out her link here.
Yes.
Okay, so
Please
this
like
is
our
her
cook at
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, this is their
Please like.
Facebook. Okay, you
Mm.
can go and like their Facebook also, follow, and pin them if you need any information. I'm sure they are very happy to assist you. Okay, so
Yes.
the next session I will let me see. Wait. There's one question here.
Huh? Oh, new question.
What's this? Will this sharing be uploaded in the YouTube? It's actually simultaneously broadcast on YouTube. Yeah, Nelson. This
Wow.
session is simultaneously broadcast on YouTube at the same time. Let me see. Let me double check the next sessions on 22nd. The next session is actually on a Monday night, 22nd, 9 o'clock. Actually, that's particular session. The speaker requested a little bit later because Vietnam is actually 1 hour before or after us. So, she requested about 9 o'clock. So mark it on your calendar, 22nd of November, Monday night, 9 o'clock. Uh, I upon gotten the CEO of the one of the most premium fish sauce factory owner, coming on live with us all the way from Vietnam. And don't worry about, even though she's a Vietnamese, but she speaks fantastic English. I had few rounds of meeting with her already. So her presentation, she's going to show us a lot of videos on how things be done. Actually, purposely for the purpose of live with cooking apa session, she purposely go and make few videos for us. So we are very grateful. Just like what Kate did with all the presentations. Like I actually told her
Of course,
her
ma. You
present
famous, ma.
Kate's slides is actually one of the best PowerPoint presentations I ever seen. So
Thank you.
thank you very much
Thank
again.
you so much.
Thanks, Kate. So let's keep in touch.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
everyone, stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye, guys. See you soon. Stay safe, stay happy, stay positive, and continue cooking with Appa. Bye.
Bye bye.